hours. That's how long this game has to impress me enough to keep playing. Otherwise, it gets refunded through Steam's 2-hour refund policy. So let's see if it has what it takes to pass the test. This is the Steam Refund Review. Enter the Gungeon is a 2016 action roguelike bullet hell game in which literally everything seems to be firearm related. It was developed by Dodgerel and published by Devolver Digital. The Steam description for Enter the Gungeon reads, Enter the Gungeon is a bullet hell dungeon crawler following a band of misfits seeking to shoot, loot, dodge roll, and table flip their way to personal absolution by reaching the legendary Gungeon's ultimate treasure, the gun that can kill the past. You know, it's funny, I just seem to keep picking up these roguelike titles for these reviews, and it's not even on purpose. It just seems that every time I happen to come across one of these titles, it interests me enough to give it a try. And for this one, mixing a roguelike with a bullet hell dungeon crawler game is a really cool idea, and I'm really excited to give it a try. Now, this game is a bit lesser known than some of the titles that I've reviewed on this channel so far, but it's still fairly popular and highly rated. It has a 95% overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam with just under 75,000 reviews at the time of writing this. It also received a very respectable 84 critic score on Metacritic, so let's see if it lives up to the hype. Alright, so as I jump into the game, I'm met initially with a vague story about why I need to, well, enter the Gungeon. After this, I'm able to select one of 4 characters to venture forth into the titular dungeon. As I picked the Marine and walked towards the entrance, I was blocked by 2 knight-looking dudes who suggested I try the tutorial prior to attempting my first run, so that's what I did. After getting through the tutorial with Manuel, or Manual, whatever, I was able to start my first run into the Gungeon. And initially, I can tell that this game's going to offer a lot of simple fun. I've always liked the bullet hell genre since playing Vampire Survivors, and I can just tell that this one will likely be enjoyable as well. But let's break it down just a bit more to see just how enjoyable it is and if it's worth keeping in my Steam library or if I should refund it. Alright, so starting with gameplay, as I've already mentioned, the game is a roguelike bullet hell dungeon crawler, but let's talk a little bit more about the specifics of its gameplay. So you're able to choose from the 4 playable characters, like I said before, to start your run. Each character has a different starter, weapon, equipment, and passive abilities. As an example, I picked the Marine for most of my playtime, who starts with a pistol and gets buffs such as faster reloading and more accurate shooting. As you go through the Gungeon, you'll defeat some very cleverly designed enemies of varying difficulty and firing patterns. The Gungeon is broken up into different rooms, and once you defeat all the enemies in a room, you get to collect shell casings to be used as currency to buy upgrades from the merchant. After clearing your way through the procedurally generated rooms, you'll eventually find yourself able to enter the boss arena. But you can backtrack to get some more collectibles and upgrades if you don't feel like you're ready for the boss quite yet. After defeating the boss, you'll travel to the next level of the Gungeon, and each level gets more and more difficult with tougher enemies. And of course, when you die, you start all over from the beginning, cause it's a roguelike. So I do think there is some sort of minor story in this game as evidenced by the Steam description, but it seems so minor to me that I really didn't even pay much attention to it. Like I said, there's an opening cutscene, and that was really it in my first 2 hours of gameplay. This game definitely seems to be a lot more gameplay focused than it is story focused, for sure. The graphics and art direction are either great or terrible depending on your stance on pixel art. I for one love pixelated graphics, and I thought the way that the playable characters and enemies moved around was clever and almost cute in a way. Now that I think of it, a lot of this game had a very cutesy design, which is a really funny dichotomy considering how the game is all about shooting enemies with crazy weapons of different varieties. I really loved the enemy design, especially the bosses. My favorite was this half-bird, half-human boss with a Gatling gun who is utterly ripped. And as far as the sound design, the music was fun, nothing too crazy, exciting, or mind-blowing, but I did feel that it was well done overall. My favorite sound in the game was when you shot with a weapon called the pea shooter and it made little pew-pew sounds. Alright, so overall, this game was good fun. Just like I expected, it's just one of those that's simple fun. It reminded me a bit of a cross between Vampire Survivors and Hades, although Hades has a much more enticing story to drive its gameplay. And Vampire Survivors gameplay is just a lot more simple than this game's. I do always love when a game uses their story to drive players to keep playing, and I get that sometimes good gameplay is enough to keep someone playing, but sometimes adding something compelling like an emotional story helps to do so. So I was sad to not really see much of a story in this game at all. But then again, this game doesn't seem to take itself too seriously, and I think it definitely achieved what the devs were likely going for. Simple, silly fun. The game is priced at $15 US on Steam, and I've seen it on sale for up to 90% off in the past. HowLongToBeat.com reports the game takes about 22 hours to beat and a whopping 160 hours to complete. Even if you pick this game up at full price, this is a good bang for your buck. Did you get it? Because I said bang because the game's all about guns. To give this game a score from 0 to 10 based on the first 2 hours of gameplay, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It definitely didn't blow me away or anything, but it was certainly not boring and it didn't frustrate me or anything like that. I do think this is one that just about anyone could pick up and immediately jump into for some simple fun and just start enjoying. Also, just a side note, I feel like this is also one that would be really well suited for a handheld console. So if you have a Steam Deck or a Nintendo Switch or something like that, then this would be a good one to pick up for that. Alright, so the question you've been waiting for, will I keep playing or will I refund it? Honestly, I just don't really see any reason to refund this one, as I'm sure I'll pull it up every now and again, and just when I have a few minutes to kill and I want to shoot some baddies and top-down roguelike bullet hell action. And for that reason, this one will stay in my Steam library, and I will be replaying it. Alright, what game do you want to see me talk about next? Let me know in the comments, make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.